What is up, everybody? Piscean here, bringing you Volume 2 to my conceptual anthology in regards to astrology. This is the Machina Qualisti series. So this is Volume 2. If you haven't seen Volume 1, check out my other video. Please subscribe, like, comment, share if you dare and care. With peace and love. The Rose of Eros. On the mechanics of attachment and desire. Here's our quick forward to help you understand what this is pertaining. Well, having laid bare the somber mechanics of mortal dissolution in Volume 1, we now turn to that force which makes mortality bearable and often unbearable. Eros, the binding principle of the cosmos, is the second great function of the celestial machine. Where Saturn severs, Venus weaves. Where Mars penetrates, the moon receives. The machinery of love, attachment, desire, and union is no less complex than that of death. Indeed, the two are intimately entwined, for every union prefigures a parting, and every birth chart contains within it the signature of the heart's final dissolution. The vulgar astrological tradition reduces love to Venus in the 7th house means marriage. This volume dismantles such simplistic fatalism and reconstructs the mechanics of Eros in all its savage, tender, and transcendent complexity. We shall explore the engines that drive attraction, the algorithms that determine compatibility, the celestial architecture of relationship longevity, and the transits that trigger both the flowering and the withering of love. The viewer will encounter multiple systems operating simultaneously. The natal signature of desire, the synastry engine that maps the friction and fusion between two charts, the composite entity that emerges as a third being, and the progressed and transiting cycles that unfold the rows of attachment over time. We shall also descend into the shadow mechanics, the Lilithic obsession, the Neptunian illusion, the Plutonic compulsion, that account for the majority of human romantic suffering. No prior volume in the astrological corpus has integrated these disparate bodies of knowledge into a single operational manual, and this is that manual. So, the erotic axis, love in its archetypal fullness, operates on a quadruple axis. These certain planets. So, Venus governs attraction, beauty, value, and the magnetic pull toward what pleases, while Mars governs desire, pursuit, assertion, and the penetrative drive that seeks consummation. The moon governs emotional bonding, nurturing, memory, and the oceanic need for safety within intimacy. The sun governs the core self that seeks recognition, radiance, and a partner who mirrors the heart of one's identity. So these four bodies form the erotic tetrad. Their configurations in the natal chart, their synastry contacts between two individuals, and their transits and progressions over a lifetime constitute the fundamental machinery of Eros. However, no account of love is complete without the transpersonal dimension supplied by Uranus, sudden liberation and rupture, Neptune, illusion, transcendence, and dissolution, Pluto, obsession, power, and transformation, and Saturn, commitment, limitation, and the long endurance of the bond. So the Rose of Eros unfolds in 7 modules, each corresponding to a layer of the mechanism. We have the natal architecture of desire, the Venus-Mars cycle. We look at the signatures of the erotic tetrad. Before any union can be analyzed, the astrologer must master the native's internal love map. And this map is drawn primarily by the signs, houses, and aspects of Venus and Mars. Venus by sign and house. Venus' sign reveals how the native attracts, what they value, and their aesthetic and erotic tastes. The house reveals where they seek pleasure and love. So you have our Venus sign, our erotic mode, our aesthetic and romantic style. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, we see Aries is aggressive pursuit, all right, instant chemistry, loves the chase, and it's bored by subtlety. Its bold colors, its fiery passion, and its direct declarations is attracted to warriors. Taurus is sensual, slow, deeply physical. Loyalty and touch are paramount. Comfort, luxury, nature, attracted to stability and beauty. Gemini is intellectual, flirtatious, multiple interests, loves wordplay and variety, wit, versatility, attracted to intelligence and humor. Moving on down, you see Cancer, which is nurturing, protective, home-oriented. Love is safety and emotional fusion, softness, nostalgia, domesticity. It's attracted to vulnerability. Leo is dramatic, romantic, grand gestures. Love is performance and adoration, glamour, passion, loyalty, attracted to confidence and admiration. Virgo is discriminating, service-oriented, perfectionist, expresses love through acts of care, cleanliness, refinement, modesty, attracted to competence and humility. Libra is partnership-focused, harmonious, aesthetic, love is balance and beauty, art, fairness, charm, attracted to grace and diplomacy. Scorpio is intense, possessive, transformative, love is a crucible of death and rebirth, secrecy, depth, erotic power, attracted to mystery and the taboo. Sagittarius is adventurous, freedom-loving, philosophical, love is exploration, enthusiasm, honesty, expansion, attracted to foreignness and wisdom. Capricorn is reserved, ambitious, enduring. Love is a long-term contract built on respect. Status, maturity, reliability, attracted to authority and competence. Aquarius is detached, experimental, friendship-based. Love is intellectual and unconventional. Eccentricity, innovation, freedom. It's attracted to originality and ideals. And Pisces is romantic, sacrificing, transcendent. Love is a mystical merging, dreaminess, art, compassion, attracted to the wounded and the divine. Venus in the angular houses, being the 1st, 4th, 7th, or 10th, demands love to be central to public identity. In succedent houses, being the 2nd, 5th, 8th, or 11th, love is built over time and tied to resources and pleasure. In cadent houses, being the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th, love is often intellectualized, service-oriented, or dissolved into spiritual longing. Right, Mars by sign and house. Mars describes how the native pursues, how they express sexual energy, and how they handle conflict within love. So we have the Mars sign, sexual and pursuit style, and conflict mode. So we see Aries is direct, impulsive, dominant, with a high libido, quick to ignite and cool, explosive, then forgiving. Depending on the Aries you're dealing with and what's aspecting and whatever. I'm talking about the zodiacal sign by itself. So Taurus is persistent, sensual, possessive, low to moderate libido, but epic stamina, stubborn, silent, then eruptive. Gemini is playful, curious, verbal, turned on by conversation, multitasking and desire, argumentative, but quick to move on. Cancer is protective, emotional, tender. Sex requires safety and emotional connection. Passive-aggressive, withdrawing, needing apology. Right? Leo is passionate, prideful, dramatic, needs to be adored and to perform, magnanimous after a grand display. Wounded pride is dangerous. Virgo is technically skilled, reserved, perfectionistic, may sublimate into work. It's critical, cold, and fault-finding. Libra is romantic, aesthetic, pleasing, sex is an art, conflict is abhorred, avoids, then becomes it becomes passive-aggressive after it avoids certain conflicts. Ooh. All right. Scorpio is intense, it's secretive, it's transformative. So sex merges power and soul. It's vengeful, scorched earth, or total silent control. Sagittarius is an enthusiastic, open, adventurous. Sex is play and exploration, blunt, truth-telling, then fleeing. Capricorn is controlled, ambitious, enduring. Sex has commitment and status maintenance, cold, authoritarian, unyielding. Aquarius is experimental, mental, detached, erupts in unexpected ways, unpredictable, radical breaks. And Pisces is, again, romantic, boundary dissolving, it's sacrificial. Sex has a mystical union, evasion, martyrdom, dissolving under pressure. So Mars' house reveals the arena of pursuit and conflict. Mars in the 7th directly places the warrior in the partnership. Mars in the 8th indicates erotic obsession and battles over shared resources. The Venus-Mars cycle and the archetypal lover. The relationship between natal Venus and Mars by aspect, reception, and sign describes the internal marriage of feminine and masculine principles. So we consider the following categories. Venus-Mars conjunction is the native's love and desire being fused. There is innate charisma and potent attractiveness, but often difficulty separating love from lust. In synastry, a partner who triggers this conjunction activates the core of Eros. Venus-Mars trine sextile. It's easy flow between attraction and action. The native is charming and romantically competent. Harmonious relationships come naturally. Venus-Mars square. Internal friction between what one loves and what one wants, desires, and how one gets it. Alright, so often projects the conflict onto partners, leading to tumultuous love affairs that oscillate between passion and strife, and this is the hallmark of a stormy romance. Venus-Mars opposition. So full awareness of the other's desire, but difficulty integrating it into the self. The native often attracts partners who embody the disowned half, a passive Venus person attracted to aggressive Mars types or vice versa. The challenge is to become whole rather than projecting. Venus-Mars quincunx, which is, again, 150 degrees in case you didn't know. In awkward, restless adjustment, the native's love language and sexual style are at odds, requiring constant recalibration, may lead to serial dissatisfaction until a mature integration occurs. The synastry engine, the celestial mechanics of attraction and repulsion, the contact grid. So, synastry is the art of overlaying two natal charts to assess the points of fusion and friction. The synastry contact grid algorithmically ranks aspects between the two charts by importance. Just 3 tiers here. All right. So first tier is fated attraction. Sun-Moon contacts, especially conjunction and opposition. The classic marriage signature, one partner's core identity, the sun, aligns with the other's emotional needs, the moon. So ascendant-descendant axis conjunctions are immediate recognition. Venus-Mars interaspects, sexual chemistry ignites. See, tier 2 is endurance and challenge. Saturn contacts to the sun, moon, Venus, or the ascendant, the glue that can stabilize or crush. Saturn-Venus contacts create lasting bonds but may bring duty-based love. Pluto contacts the personal planets, obsession, power struggles, transformation. Uranus contacts excitement and instability, the lightning strike that can either liberate or shatter. Tier 3 is the substrate Mercury aspects, communication compatibility. Jupiter aspects, growth, optimism, shared philosophy. Neptune aspects, spiritual, romantic, or illusory bonds. So each aspect is examined not only by type, like conjunction, trine, square, opposition, but by whether it activates the highlight for life or death impact on the partner or the lot of Eros. Alright, 2.2 is the Arabic part of Eros, lot of love. So the part of Eros, or Pars Erotis, is calculated as the ascendant adding Venus subtracting the Sun for diurnal charts, or the ascendant adding Sun subtracting Venus for nocturnal charts. In synastry, when one partner's planet or angle tightly conjoins the other's part of Eros, a powerful, seemingly distant romantic pull is engendered. The nature of the contacting planet colors the Eros. So Sun on a part of Eros is a partner is the literal light of love, highly attractive. Moon on a part of Eros is emotional depth and nurturing bond. Venus, supreme romantic and aesthetic compatibility. Mars, explosive sexual attraction. Saturn, a binding but heavy connection often involves karma and obligation. Uranus, electric, unpredictable, and often short-lived unless both partners value freedom. Neptune, soulmate illusion, spiritual bliss, or devastating deception. Pluto, a love that transforms through power dynamics, sometimes painful. House overlays, where the partner lands. When one partner's planets fall in the other's houses, the relationship takes on the character of those houses. So we have the overlay planet in the house, and we have the effect on the relationship. All right, so Sun in your partner's first house. Partner embodies your identity, so there's a strong attraction there. Sun in the partner's 7th house, classic marriage indicator. You complete me. Moon in partner's 4th house, deep emotional home, security, and belonging. Moon in the partner's 8th house is intense, possibly obsessive emotional bond, soul deep merging. Venus in partner's 5th house is romantic love affair, playfulness, children. Venus in the partner's 10th house is public relationships, status-oriented, maybe performative. Mars in partner's 8th house is powerful sexual dynamism, potentially controlling or transformative. Mars in the partner's 12th house is hidden or secretive sex, repressed anger, or spiritual service. Saturn in partner's 7th house is the marriage of duty, serious, long-lasting, but heavy. And Saturn in the partner's 12th house is karmic burden, hidden fears, but profound spiritual work. So house overlays form the unconscious terrain of the relationship. They are the stage upon which the aspects play. All right, on to the composite chart, the third entity, the birth of the relationship. So the composite chart is derived by taking the midpoints of the corresponding planets and angles in 2 natal charts. It represents the relationship itself as an independent entity with its own sun, purpose, moon, emotional field, Venus, love expression, Mars, sexual style, and so forth. The composite is the child of the 2 individuals. Its health, longevity, and crises can be read with the same techniques as a natal chart. We have the composite sun, the purpose of the union, and these are just some examples here. So for example, Sun in the first house, the relationship has a strong public identity. It's self-conscious, and its primary purpose is to be recognized as a unit. It's like a celebrity couple. Sun in the 7th house, the relationship is about partnership identity. It exists to teach balance. Sun in the 8th house, the relationship's core is transformation, shared resources, and deep intimacy can be a crucible. Sun in the 10th house, highly visible. The public sees this union as a power couple, career-driven. Sun in the 12th house is hidden, spiritual, or karmic, so the relationship may be private, sacrificial, or dissolved by external forces. Look at the composite moon, which is the emotional foundation. See the composite moon sign and house describe the mood and emotional climate of the relationship. Composite moon in Pisces is tender, psychic, but prone to boundary loss. In Capricorn, it is respectful but emotionally reserved. Critical aspects to the composite moon, like squares from Saturn, conjunctions from Pluto, reveal emotional challenges that may become the grounds for dissolution or deepening, depending on the consciousness. Composite Venus and Mars, the erotic signature. Alrighty. So the composite Venus-Mars axis reveals the sexual and romantic chemistry of the relationship as a whole. A trine or sextile indicates harmony and ease, while a square suggests tension that must be creatively channeled. An opposition indicates a push-pull, often one partner expressing Venus, while the other expresses Mars, leading to stereotyped roles. Right. Composite Venus and Scorpio with Mars and Aries is intense, passionate, and possibly volatile. The relationship thrives on drama and deep intimacy, but risks power struggles. Composite Venus and Aquarius with Mars and Gemini is intellectual, experimental, and open. It may lack emotional depth for those needing earth or water. So the Arabic part of the marriage, being the ascendant, adding the 7th cusp, subtracting Venus, and the composite, can determine the public and legal nature of the union. Hard aspects from transiting outer planets to this part often correlate with marriage or divorce events. All right, onto the engine of commitments and ruptures, transits, progressions, and the Saturn cycle. So the Saturn cycle and relationships. Saturn in transit forms a chronological backbone of relational development. Its cycle around a chart marks critical thresholds. Like Saturn conjunct the natal Venus or composite Venus. This transit occurs roughly every 29 years, often precipitates a commitment or crisis. It is the reality check of love. Many marriages occur under this transit because the relationship has proven its seriousness, but many divorces also occur because the relationship fails the test of endurance. Saturn square or opposition to Venus strains that test the bond, satellite arguments, financial pressure, or a sense of emotional starvation. And Saturn trine sextile Venus, maturation, deepening of trust. Right, the Uranus transit, the great liberator. Uranus transits to natal Venus, Mars, or the 7th house ruler often triggers sudden loves, sudden divorces, or radical shifts in sexual orientation. The Uranus transit says evolve or shatter. A Uranus-Venus conjunction is a love at first sight transit par excellence. It also releases one from stale relational patterns. If the native is in a rigid, self-suffocating marriage, Uranus may liberate through a shocking affair or a sudden divorce. The composite chart receiving a Uranus activation often signals a conscious uncoupling or a sudden upgrade to the relationship's form, open marriage, long distance, new level of honesty. Right. The Neptune transit, the mist in the dream. Neptune dissolves boundaries, and when it transits Venus, Mars, or the composite moon, it can create a period of transcendent romantic bliss or total illusion. The danger of Neptune transits is projection and escapism. The gift is unconditional love and spiritual union. While many relationships that begin under Neptune transits feel fated and angelic but crash when Neptune moves on and the real partner emerges. The Pluto transit, the underworld of love. Pluto transits bring obsession, power struggles, and the death and rebirth of a relationship. A Pluto transit over the composite ascendant signals the total transformation of a relationship's identity. Often the couple either ends or evolves into a radically different arrangement. Pluto transits reveal the shadow of love, jealousy, control, suppressed rage, and compel its integration or its destructive expression. Alright, the fixed star lovers and the celestial bedchamber, stars of erotic destiny. Just as fixed stars signify death in Volume 1, they signify specific themes in love. The following table identifies key stars of Eros. Alright, so for our star names in this portion, we see we're going to go over Aldebaran, Alpha Tauri, as well as Spica, Alpha Virginis, Alpha Librae or Zubenel Genubi, Antares, Alpha Scorpii. So Aldebaran or Alpha Tauri is 9 degrees 47 Gemini. We see that Spica Alpha Virginis is 23 degrees 50 Libra. We see that Alpha Librae is 15 degrees 05 Scorpio, and Antares is 9 degrees 46 Sagittarius. So, Aldebaran is courage and integrity in love, but can bring loss through stubbornness. Spica is the star of the divine bride, a brilliant, fortunate union blessed by the goddess. Alpha Librae is the south scale imbalance in love and the potential for betrayal. And Antares is passionate, obsessive love, heart-stopping romance, but the potential for the fiery destruction of the bond. And moving on, we see Vega, or Alpha Librae, which is 15 degrees 19 Capricorn. It's talented, charismatic, but sometimes distant or cold in love. In a union that is aspirational but not always warm. Alright, Sirius. It's 14 degrees 05 Cancer. Its great brilliance and devotion, like the dog star, suggests faithful love, but also the potential for the beloved to consume the native's life. Algol It's 26 degrees 10 Taurus. The demon's head in love. Sudden, violent ends to relationships. Decapitation of a partnership. It can manifest as obsessive, dangerous passion. And a Turner, or Alpha Eridani, is 15 degrees 20 Pisces. Love that ends in a distant land or a spiritual, transcendent union that requires great sacrifice. When a partner's personal planet, especially Venus, the moon, or the ascendant, is conjunct one of these stars, the relationship carries a star's mythic quality. A composite ascendant on Spica is a marker of a genuinely blessed union. On Algol, the relationship may face public scandal or violence. All right, 5.2 is the lunar mansions of the heart. And we see that the 28 mansions can be applied to love through the composite moon or the transiting moon on the wedding day. A selection of these 28. So you have like mansion 2. It's the belly of the ram. It's quick passion but prone to short duration. Mansion 7, the forearm, is a relationship built on service and physical work. It can be fruitful if labor is shared. Mansion 12 is the changer. It's unstable, it's changeable love, and it requires adaptability. Mansion 15 is the covering, secret love hidden from the world. It may involve shame or profound intimacy. Mansion 20 is the beam, stable, open, generous union, and love flourishes in community. And Mansion 27 is the southern fish, dreamy, aquatic love, spiritual merging, but danger of drowning in each other. So the election of a wedding under a benefic lunar mansion, for example, the 20th, is an ancient astrological practice rarely observed today, but recommended for those seeking celestial favor on their union. All right, now I want to talk about the shadow mechanics of love, Lilith, narcissism, and the unconscious bond. So Black Moon Lilith in Synastry and Composite. All right. So Lilith, the mean of true apogee of the moon, represents the primal, untamed feminine, the exile, and the rejected aspects of the self. In love, a partner's Lilith conjunct the other sun, moon, Venus, or the ascendant creates a bond that is intense, raw, and often destabilizing. It feels karmically charged, right? Sometimes taboo, positive expressions, mutual empowerment of the dark feminine, healing of sexual shame, and negative expressions are power games, mutual destruction, affairs born from suppressed rage. So composite Lilith conjunct the ascendant or the sun indicates a relationship that society may judge or that forces both partners to confront their shadows. The narcissist mechanism and Venus retrograde. So this is actually happening this year. I would definitely stay tuned. I have a lot of theories for what's going to happen during this Venus retrograde. But Venus retrograde in the natal chart can produce an inward turned love nature. So the native seeks to love the self first, which can manifest either as a profound self-acceptance or as narcissistic relational patterns. Like Venus retrograde in Aries, you're going to be a dick. Hello, Dad. Anyways, Venus retrograde in Leo, yeah, run. So in Synastry, when a Venus retrograde person meets a Venus direct person, there can be mismatched rhythms. One loves reflectively, the other directly. Misunderstandings abound unless the consciousness is high. So the classic quote-unquote narcissist signature is not simply a Venus retrograde, but a combination of a strong, unaspected sun, a debilitated moon, and a Venus-Mars square, projecting the disowned onto the partner. The astrological antidote to narcissistic love is the activation of Rahu. The narcissist must learn to love outside the self through service, which is the 6th house, or spiritually surrendering, which is the 12th house. And spiritual surrender doesn't look like, oh, I believe in God and one man created everything and I'm getting hard on the patriarchy. Because that's what most of you men do. And even some of y'all women. Y'all are really tweaking. And I got that shit from my family too. Like, that shit is not cool. Religious psychosis, bro. Look it up. That shit is weird. Weird. Alright. Just like the transgenderism bullshit. It's all an ideological, dogmatic belief system to keep you fucking content and whatever your sick ass mindset wants you to believe. That's all it is. You're feeding your ego. Congratulations. So the karmic debt. Saturn and Ketu contacts. When one partner's Saturn conjoins the other's Ketu, or vice versa, the relationship replays a past life dynamic of teacher-student, master-servant, or guardian-ward. There is a heavy sense of obligation and difficulty in leaving. These bonds feel stuck and are often the source of great suffering until the karmic debt is acknowledged and consciously worked through. Liberation arrives when Rahu is invited into the dynamic, bringing new growth and new patterns. Alright, the erotic apocalypse, the endings of love and the alchemy of release, the divorce signature. So, just as death has its anarita, love's end has its annihilating transits. The composite charts Saturn squared Uranus, Pluto on the composite ascendant, or the progressed composite moon entering a via combusta, the fiery way, early degrees of Scorpio, all signal the end of a relationship's current form, either through dissolution or radical restructuring. The Arabic part of divorce is calculated as the ascendant adding Saturn subtracting Venus for nocturnal or variations. Chanting Saturn conjunct this part or a solar eclipse occurring on it often coincides with legal separation. Alright. Let's talk about the alchemy of release. Well, the end of love need not be tragic. It can be a conscious dissolution. The progressed moon leaving a sign, especially moving from water to fire or fire to earth, often releases emotional attachment. An electional chart for the moment of final separation, if consciously chosen, can set a karmic seal of peace rather than bitterness. We recommend a ceremony timed to a Venus-Saturn trine, where both parties acknowledge the gifts and release the bond. The cosmos honors such rites. The rose unfolds and folds. So the machinery of Eros is the machinery of the heart's education. The astrologer, who comprehends the Venus-Mars cycle, the synastric web, the composite entity, and the transit cascades, holds the key to understanding not only why love blooms and withers, but how to navigate its seasons with wisdom. The rose of Eros is never dead. It merely retracts into the swale of the self to be reborn under a new Venus transit, a new progressed lunation, a new conjunction of the fixed star Spica with the horizon. Future volumes of the Machina Qualistis will delve into the Plutus mechanism, wealth and poverty, the Ara mechanism, curses and karmic debts, the Bellum mechanism, war and conflict, and the Lumen mechanism, illumination and genius. Each is a cog in the colossal engine of the stars. For now, may the lover and the astrologer alike find in these videos a lantern for the labyrinth of the heart. As a rose blooms in the aspect, and its thorn is also a gift. Volume 3 is The Midas Wheel, on the mechanics of fortune and ruin. I hope to see you there. With peace and love, Piscean out.